Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Welcome to Wrestleview Post-Raw number 111. This is it. I finally recapped a show that's fucking worse than that one from November 2018, the one that made Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley, question whether he wanted to even continue in wrestling and said, I have to get the hell out of this company. This show was worse than that one. It was worse than the one where Dean Ambrose went to the vet's office and got a horse tranquilizer in his ass.
How could you possibly say that when...
How could it be worse than a horse tranquilizer in the ass, you may ask? Well, we're going to talk about that.
Listen.
Jesus Christ, this is a dumpster fire.
Do you want to say hello to everybody first?
Of course I do.
I was saying before I give my positives of the show.
You have positives for this show.
I have one positive.
That it's over.
No, I have another one.
There's only one positive.
No, there's another one.
It ended. That is a positive.
There was one more.
This was the fucking worst show
there's
on
one
the
more.
face of the planet.
There was one more positive, I assure you. And I think everybody else would agree with me when I do mention it.
Oh, maybe this show was so bad that the board of directors is finally just going to gang up on Vince and say, "You're done.
No.
It's over."
No. This was the main positive of the show. And I think they strategically planned this knowing that the show was going to be very, very bad. They put Law and Order SVU on beforehand as they had a marathon because knowing that the show was going to be horrible, but at least you felt good knowing that there was a marathon of SVU on.
You know what's great? Well, number one, it is good to have that back instead of Chicago PD.
It was a one-time thing though because of
Don't tell me Chicago PD is going to be back next week.
Worst
lead-in.
It is because they only did it because it's Marissa's. What's the actress's name who plays Olivia Benson?
Mariska Hargitay?
Yeah, it's her birthday, so they had a happy birthday marathon weekend for her. That's why the show was on.
Terrible. The best thing on this, a good lead-in for Raw, at least, Law & Order SVU. Chicago PD, I think, is just the pits.
That would have been really like, whoa.
Horrid.
Yeah.
Horrid. Absolutely horrid. This show, I don't even have words for it anymore about how fucking awful this show was. I don't even care. It's like part of my gimmick to get like mad about this show. And
I don't think it's not a gimmick though.
It's not a gimmick. I really do feel it.
That's what everyone said.
Fuck the gimmick this week. Like I was actually mad watching this show. It's so bad. It's even the idiots. And they're fucking idiots. I'm sorry. If you're watching this,
can you calm down just like a little bit though? Like can
relax,
you
relax.
Can you relax? Because
I'm relaxed.
honestly,
I'm relaxed. They're fucking idiots that defend this Fiend thing to the death. To the death. They're like, "Oh my god, your take on the Fiend is the worst take of 2021 so far." Like, yeah,
we're 2 weeks in, but okay.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in, and it's not. You as a viewer of this product is the worst thing to happen to wrestling in 2021. People that will actually defend this garbage is the worst thing to happen to Monday Night Raw. The worst. Actually, the worst thing to happen to the show is COVID-19. There's no doubt about it. COVID-19 has claimed a lot of businesses through this year, on top of all the lives that it's claimed, and it's a tragedy. But COVID-19 is directly responsible for the absolute decline of Monday Night Raw. Without question, Raw is going to be a victim of this pandemic. And yes, the ratings would have gone down without, like even if they did everything right, there would have been a drop, but not this much.
Oh, not this.
And not this level of interest. Say what you want about WWE and Vince McMahon. They do a lot of stupid shit. And they've done a lot of stupid shit, especially in the last 5 years, one of the stupidest things that they tried to do, and this was actually 6 or 7 years ago now, started with like trying to turn Daniel Bryan heel and putting him in the Wyatt family. Like how that was horrendous. And they immediately were like, oh God, like that was actually a really bad idea. That was a really, really bad idea. Let's switch him back. And it wound up going for the best because that saved WrestleMania 30 in many, many ways. But they've done a lot of stupid stuff. Constable Corbin just destroying this show. Part of that November 2018 Raw that was the pits, one of the worst Raws I've ever recapped in my entire life, other than this one. But without a crowd there, WWE has done a lot of stupid stuff. But if a crowd continually shits on something, and then they start to see it impacting them at like the box office. Oh my God, people aren't, buying tickets to come see us. House shows are down. We have to make some discernible changes. They do make the change. They do. Even though all that stuff when the McMahon family came out and what was it, like December? Was that December 2018?
I think so. I think so.
When they came out and were like, oh, we are going to listen to the fans now. There's not going to be any automatic rematches. We're going to be listening to everything that you want. Yeah, and in many ways they did for a little while. We got Kofi Kingston as WWE champion. Of course, they didn't want that, and they certainly didn't treat him like a great champion or anything like that. But you had Seth Rollins because he was hot at the time. He becomes champion over Brock Lesnar. They did a lot of things, for the fans.
They don't. Oh yeah, they don't.
But I'm sorry, but now it's literally just unchecked. There's no crowd there. You have people on the WWE ThunderDome that are being told when to cheer, when to boo.
Yep.
They're piping in cheers for people, piping in boos for people. They're fucking piping in "This is awesome" chants. You know how cringy that is? You know how just stupid that is?
It's so cringy because obviously nobody's there, you know?
Nobody's there, and by them chanting "This is awesome," they take a good match and it's like, oh no. No, that's stupid.
Well, you
that's
take
really
everything
stupid.
away from it,
You take away from it.
I want the pipe noise in, obviously.
No, you need the noise, but don't go the extra mile of
And
putting
putting
in
awesome
fake ass chants.
yeah.
It's like so brutal. They're unchecked. Vince McMahon's worst instincts for television, and it's amazing how this man has survived for as long as he has. It's just goodwill. It's goodwill from the 1980s and 1990s, and some success in the mid 2000s. Other than that, it's just been living off of everything that they've done in the past.
I think
they sell these shows. They pop ratings from people that were hot 30 years ago. And Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, they got the best rating that they had since 316 Day when Steve Austin was on the show. They haven't had a better rating since before Raw Legends Night. They hadn't had a better rating since the first night of the pandemic when they had Stone Cold Steve Austin there.
Yeah,
that's really saying something about the interest level in these this product. And then they present this steaming pile of flaming shit. Yeah, there's flames involved. They're really obsessed with the fucking fire right now. It's a flaming bag of dog shit is what they presented on television for 3 hours.
I mean, what's really kind of happening is, unfortunately, it's exposing them in the worst way possible. They obviously have been flawed for quite some time, but you were able to cover it up with a few things. You were able to cover it up with a crowd, obviously, because we always say this, when you're there, right? It's a different experience,
sure.
So anybody who's in their town and they're looking at a live event, even your most like boring of towns where they just kind of like sit in their hands and you're like, what are they doing? Like, you want some sort of reaction. It's still better than what's going on, obviously, because not only are you, first of all, you're getting like individuals there who are, obviously there's going to be some people who cheer for whatever, you know what I mean, or against whatever's going on. Mm-hmm. So you don't have that to fall back on. You don't have that excitement of just being there, getting food, watching a show, getting merch, like things like that, just kind of, it brings to the whole ambiance of the experience, it adds the experience of being there, right? So it adds that level of excitement, and it's able to showcase, like you said, it's able to show people exactly specifically like, okay, what do you like, what don't they like, even if they don't always.
Where are you at on our product right
exactly.
now? The
Even if
best survey that they can get. They can send out all the email
Right.
surveys they want, but the best feedback they can get is the live crowd
they
in the
don't-
arena. Yes, there are some dickheads in the crowd that just chant against
Of
everything
course.
and are just being,
But-
fools. But for the most part, crowds will tell you they're the barometer of
Even
where
if
they
they
are.
don't- even
Vince
if they don't
McMahon
tell
is
you-
unchecked, and that's why he's a dickhead.
Even if they don't listen to you either, like you said before, there are some times where they're like, they look at it and they're like, we really have to reevaluate because that was not good. We have to change things up because that if we keep going on with this, we're just gonna fall flat on our faces, flounder, and we're not gonna get the crowd back, right? But the problem being with that is even if they don't always listen to the crowd, like even if they were taking the crowd and they weren't taking the crowd into consideration, at least in the back of your mind, like it was there. The fact that you were able to kind of get that feedback and see
Right.
like genuinely how interested people are in something,
Now-
or not interested.
Now,
in
now
something.
one crowd, like you're in Brooklyn one week and then you go to Toledo, Ohio the next week, you're going to get different responses.
Of course.
But if Brooklyn shits on something and it's like, okay, well, it's Brooklyn. And then they go to Toledo next week and Toledo's
and then they
like,
also are
this
like,
sucks.
right,
It's like, maybe there's something here.
right, and
And then you compare it to like the numbers and the ratings and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. You're able
They're
to.
unchecked right now.
They have.
This whole thing that Vince McMahon's a genius and only he can book professional wrestling, this pandemic killed that.
Well, I think, like I said,
Killed
it
it.
exposed it. And I think it
Expose the issues.
the issues of it. Well, we're also not dealing with the same crowd, and I think what's happening
There's
is
no crowd.
no audience. I should say then we're not dealing with the same audience that we did back in the Attitude Era in the 80s. And the problem is they were teetering on that level of like not connecting and not being able to reach out to you can't please everyone, right? But they're not pleasing even a good majority of their fans. So what's happening is now the casual fan,
they're pleasing the idiots.
the casual fan.
The Fiend is so good. This is wrestling.
I think it's a very.
It's not even good television.
But even I see. There's what I disagree with you. Not that I like. I mean,
You're gonna
No. Listen to what I have to say before you attack me, please.
You're gonna tell me that the Fiend is good?
No, that wasn't what I was gonna say. So
All
that's
right.
what I'm saying. Like,
All right.
well, calm yourself
Go
before
on.
you whatever.
Go on.
And you do a lot more research in terms of looking at what's online. I'm not seeing like this big majority of people who are like supportive of the Fiend right now. Maybe in like the early stages of when it was starting to go off the rails, you got more people like defending it, but I'm not seeing like a huge majority of people like really saying like, oh, this, and maybe because you're editor-in-chief and people are like maybe commenting you or mentioning you and tagging you in things and saying like, oh, your opinion, whatever, that it sucks. But I'm not seeing like this huge group of individuals who are like, yeah, they're defending it. I'm actually seeing like a very small majority, a small like minority of people who are actually defending the Fiend. And maybe because that's just like you looking at that and you're thinking like there's a bigger whatever, but
it's insulting it's insulting that human beings like that exist.
Okay, but but no matter what, I always forget it because I didn't ever watch it, and luckily I never watched it. That who mentioned it last? Vicky, was it?
Katie Vick.
Katie Vick. I am sure there's some idiots out there who thought that was freaking genius.
Actually, I'm not really sure about that.
I don't know
I think
about
that was
that.
universally panned. Now it's kind of like a
Maybe not.
joke. Now it's like a joke.
I don't know.
But like when it happened,
there's got to be somebody out there who defended it.
I mean, God, Katie Vick was so bad. That was so bad.
But there's got to be somebody out
yes,
there who defended it.
there has been bad stuff, and actually, well, really, Katie Vick.
And again, I'm not comparing Katie Vick to the Fiend. Obviously, that's not the case.
Well, no, because Katie Vick, that went away after like 2 weeks. Everybody kind of forgets that.
But you also can't equate.
Kane, you're a murderer. You're a murderer,
whatever.
and then it's like that was awful, and then he humps the corpse the next week, and then it went away because it was just too far.
Of course,
USA Network called him up, was like, "Fucking get that off our televisions right the fuck now."
But what I'm saying to you is, you can't equate those two. I'm not trying to, but the only thing I'm trying to say is like, I really think I don't know where you're finding these individuals who are like, yeah, the Fiend.
They're
in this time.
They're out there. They're out there.
But
they're
a big
also,
majority though.
I wouldn't say a big majority, but enough to be fucking ridiculous. Really. Really, absolutely foolish.
I don't know about that.
Oh, they're out. Believe me.
But are they tagging you? Because I'm not seeing these.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're tagging you specifically,
absolutely.
though. So that's where it's different.
I don't care about being tagged.
No. I'm not
They're
saying
just
that,
idiots.
but they're directing it to you, so I'm not seeing that.
Oh, it's out. Believe me. When I just clicked on the Raw hashtag on Twitter.
Okay.
During the main event, and people were like, "Oh my god, I hope she comes back in a mask. This is great. This is so good."
I mean,
it's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, to each its own, I guess. But yeah,
painfully dumb.
Of course. Yeah, but some people, like you said, there's something for everybody. But there's not something for everybody, and they're not looking at the bigger picture. But they never have, and like. I don't know. The whole thing is it's quite depressing, honestly, just because you want to so badly get it back to the first of all,
it can be good.
First of all,
it can be
good.
You
want everything to be just like normal in the sense of just life in general. And we're
okay.
Even though the cases are horrible right now, like
Yes.
we have a huge spike in our country, which is devastating. I'm hoping again with the rollout of the vaccine and things like that taking away, like you're hoping for some normalcy by the spring, summer type
by
thing.
The fall. They say by the fall it might start to get back to normal.
Okay. But this is like, in terms of wrestling, you're like, oh god, like this is never gonna.
It's never gonna
get
better.
worse. It's like
it's never gonna get better.
Cycle of just
I'm convinced after watching this show, I'm convinced that the promo that Vince McMahon cut in 2002 was a straight shoot. If anybody's going to kill my creation, I'm going to do it. And he's not doing it with the NWO. He's doing it by himself. It's almost like Vince doesn't even want. Oh yeah, at this point, it's so fucking bad. Like I'm having dark thoughts in my head that Vince is like, oh well, I'm not going to live forever, so I'm going to take it with me. I'm just going to take it with me.
So he just wants to die with him.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't want to produce a whole, a bunch of hours of television. Maybe he just wants to do SmackDown.
But see, that's amazing.
If you can make $1 billion on SmackDown, why the fuck?
Okay, so then why doesn't he do that then?
No, I'm kidding. But Jesus Christ, it's so fucking bad. There's no possible way that anybody could think what they put out. There's no way that somebody who produced and worked on this show can feel proud of themselves, can feel like this was a good show. There's no fucking way. I don't care how much cocaine Bruce Pritchard does. I don't care how much he fucking drinks.
Geez.
There's no amount of drugs and alcohol that can make that man truly think in his heart of hearts, deep down there in the cockles of his heart, that this was a good show. There's no fucking way. There's no way. This show is creatively bankrupt. It's so bad. It's horrendous. There's no defending it. There's no coming back from this. And it's like, how do you make the turnaround? So now we start getting people back, which number one, the first thing that they need to do when they can start getting back on the road and traveling again, maybe in the fall, maybe early winter 2021, 2022, we start getting arena shows again. God willing, hopefully, praise. Let's get this vaccine rolled out and let's make sure everybody's healthy and we get some herd immunity going on here. The very first thing they need to do to get straightened out is to do a loop through the Northeast and Chicago and Los Angeles, go to all the big cities so we can tell you exactly what the fuck is the problem with this product. You just need to present one of these shows to one of those crowds and you're going to get instant feedback on where your fans actually are. No more, oh, cheer. It's time to cheer. Oh, you didn't cheer? Pfft, you're booted out of the Thunderdome. Oh, you didn't boo? You're booted out of the Thunderdome. Oh, we want them to like this person. Pipe in some cheers. Pipe in, this is awesome. It's Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose. Pipe in, this is awesome. It's like, all that is gone. This weird control of, wanting to control their crowd, that micromanaging, that totally just... One of the very few things that makes wrestling watchable is, the fact that there is crowd involvement. Sometimes there's too much, and we have talked about that many times. Raw after Mania, there's too much with the fucking crowd. Too much. But for the most part, the crowd does play a direct role in
100%.
what you see on the television or how you feel about something on the television. I don't want, like, nobody wants to be told how to feel. You want to watch the show, and yeah, like, some people are going to disagree with what the crowd's saying, but you're going to get a good sense of what the majority of the crowd of your audience is feeling.
Yeah.
At a time.
Yeah.
They need that. They need to be held accountable. Vince McMahon, with all of his worst tendencies for fart humor and fucking apparently lighting people on fire in the middle of the fucking ring, needs to be held accountable.
What happened to him as a child? That's what I want to know.
His childhood was messed up. If you ever look up Vince McMahon's childhood, it's a disaster. He was beaten. He first of all, he lived with his mother in a trailer park in North Carolina. Had a stepfather that just mercilessly beat him.
Oh, gosh.
Just mercilessly beat
terrible.
him. Vince Sr. wanted nothing to do with him, apparently. He was a promoter up in New York. Him and Jess McMahon, his father, promoting WWF, or really NWA at the time, and then they formed WWF from Madison Square Garden. And, Allentown, Pittsburgh, those areas.
Right.
Winds up going to military school. Plays a little football, gets his head on straight, meets his father finally, and then takes off. But his childhood was not good. So yeah, he's prone to sophomoric humor. Even though he always talked about like the Mean Street Posse was like a play on his neighbors that were pretentious and goody two shoe, because he was still like this white trash guy from North Carolina. Who likes the fart humor and all that stuff. And, he's living in this big mansion in Stamford. So his story is interesting. It's really good. It's going to make a great Netflix documentary when they do it. They are producing it at this moment. But fuck if he hasn't jumped the shark in the last couple years. I mean, he has lost it. Whatever he had, whatever secret sauce he had, really what the secret sauce was? Having a crowd that gave him feedback, and having people around him that weren't insufferable, dick-kissing, ass-kissing losers.
Yeah, I mean...
there's nobody to hold this man, to say this man, no, this is not right, Vince. Oh, yeah? You're fired. Get out of here. I don't need you anymore.
I mean, he'll do it to his own kids.
Yes. Shane went away for a long time.
Yeah. So it's not even like you could say like, oh, maybe Stephanie could talk to him, maybe
no.
Shane could talk to him.
No, there's no talking to this man.
There's nobody that could.
There's no
reason
talking
with
to this
him.
man.
I mean, he's always very forgiving, but it's like, how many years does it take before he has to sit down with an individual? It's like
COVID-19 is going to kill wrestling for mainstream America. Really, I mean, it's almost amazing that SmackDown is produced by the same company because it's so good. The reason why it's thriving, I really believe. I mean, if you really think about SmackDown, if you really break it down, like the main event scene's good. Who's involved in the main event scene? Roman Reigns, excellent. He's been excellent since he came back. Mm-hmm. But Paul Heyman is right behind him, driving this machine forward.
Yeah.
When Paul Heyman's involved in something as a character, when he is very, very much in the weeds, controlling that storyline, and Paul Heyman just doing one storyline, like, he was Brock Lesnar's go-to guy for a while.
Yep, absolutely.
It's gonna be good, and if it's not good, it's gonna be, it's gonna have some competency to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you think about the rest of SmackDown, like Otis and Shorty G or whatever the fuck, he's Chad Gable again now, and like you'll see some of the same finishes on Raw. You'll see, like a lot of like bleed over, in storyline, because they're the same writing staffs. The undercard is very suspect on SmackDown, and the reason why it's successful is because, number one, it's a 2-hour show, so you don't have to fucking drag your ass through a 3-hour
right,
slog.
Exactly. So that you're not suffering.
But the main event scene is strong.
Strong, yeah.
It's strong, and it's interesting, and it's got Paul Heyman's fucking fingerprints all over it. And yeah, we definitely had our criticisms of, a Paul Heyman run Raw. But you think back to like what he was doing on Raw, like earlier this year, late last year, there was a lot of young talent that were being pushed. You know, like Zelina Vega under under Paul Heyman was running this show. Now she's not even employed by them anymore.
But people were criticizing Paul Heyman running the show.
Yes,
right?
because he did too much with the fucking Lana thing, and like that was that.
It's not even that. I wholeheartedly believe that he was running things, but at the end of the day, obviously,
well, everything gets nixed by Vince.
Vince has the last say. So was he really?
He cut the legs out of
show?
everybody. Well, we talked about that before on this show. On this very show, we talked about this before.
Have. So
about how Vince cut the legs off of every single young talent that he tried to fucking push.
So if he fully had full control, we'd be having a different conversation right now. But he doesn't.
Well, nobody has full control. Vince sitting there on the conference call, so pathetically trying to, pass off his failures as to just like, oh, well, it's just that I'm in the weeds. I'm gonna bring in Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman to get me out of the weeds. I need to look at big picture stuff, and the fucking guy's never gonna look at big picture stuff. He's just gonna be looking at what are we gonna do this week to pop a rating? Oh, come on over and see Raw. We're gonna light someone's cock on fire in the ring. Oh, it's gonna be great. Like he's a total fucking shyster, and I cannot believe that Wall Street continues to give him a pass. I keep waiting. I mean, there have been questions. Each press conference has a few more questions asked than the last one about what are you doing about this goddamn product? What are you doing about these fucking ratings? What are you doing? For the USA Network, who's giving you all this money. And you're making good on your YouTube videos, but how does that help USA Network whatsoever?
No, it doesn't.
Like maybe they can trick NBC Universal into another contract, but with continued diminishing returns and live, and cable television continuing to take a nosedive, this is not a sustainable model. This fucking whatever they're doing is not sustainable. And they just think that they have an unlimited pass because they have a bunch of fucking Neanderthals that watch this show and will give them a free pass. Oh, The Fiend. It's really good, Mike. It's really good. It's the best. It's not. I'm here to tell you, yes, there are some things that are really smart about it, but it's not. This is not made for professional wrestling. It's just not. It's not.
No.
Do you agree?
I agree with you. Of course I agree with you.
What do you think?
Of course I agree with you. I think everything, unfortunately, everything you're saying is very true. The only issue that me personally, that I have with all of it is that until we get a crowd, we are going to be suffering a very, very long time with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to have to be like plugging along and everything else. Again, we work for a site where we're watching it. You know what I mean? But not everyone works for a site.
I'm not complaining about
where they're watching
it.
No.
I'll watch.
But what I'm saying it. But would you?
Not if I wasn't getting paid. I should preface it with that.
Yeah. Come on.
So if I wasn't getting paid,
if you weren't doing
if we weren't doing our podcast here.
Would you watch it? No.
No, I would have given up on wrestling. I'd just be subscribed to the network to watch the classic stuff.
Classics, and you know what? I would probably become one of those people who doesn't watch it. What if WrestleMania or for shows in the area? I'll go to a show.
Oh yeah, I would go to
that
a show.
That type of thing.
Absolutely,
but
I would
watch it every
just for the
week?
experience, and then just not watch it ever again.
Not watch
maybe
it.
Honestly, like the thing you should really do if you want to continue watching wrestling in America or WWE in America, just watch the pay-per-views. It's like you don't need to watch these horrific shows. They recap everything in 3 seconds, and then you just watch the match, and then you just shut it off and come back in a month. That's the only way to consume this product.
What makes
now,
me very sad,
getting insanely drunk.
A lot of what makes me sad too is obviously we missed so much, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, like a true blue, whatever. But what's making me kind of sad even now is like I'm usually very excited for the Rumble. I'm like, yeah, like woohoo, like Rumble's coming. You know what I mean?
I do not have the warm and fuzzies for the Rumble this
year because I'm like, what are we doing?
Whatever they do, it's
And it could change so fast, too, because they don't have a long-term plan.
No.
And you can't genuinely have, like, a real... You can kind of have a long-term plan, but the only thing is, like, you never know what... Especially, like, Drew McIntyre getting COVID now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really ever know what's going to happen. So, unfortunately, somebody could get COVID next week where their plans are completely changed, you know? But you just... With this, the way it is right now, it's just so hard to even get excited about anything, you know? And I
watch this show, it's hard to get.
And I feel like, you know, there was a couple, like, and again, we'll talk about it in like a couple minutes, but I feel like there was like maybe one or two things that were passable for the night, but not like great, you know what I mean? But they were okay.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But not fantastic. But it's like that's not gonna
But they're
cut it,
doubling and tripling down on this Fiend garbage. And it's just that. It's garbage.
I think the other problem is, too, this is very much Vince also. Bring
back Zelina Vega and just give me endless matches with Andrade and Angel Garza again.
When there's like backlash and backlash.
He doubles down.
Yep. He goes even harder. So sometimes, like, here's the thing.
You think that idiot knows how to work his Twitter account?
You know, but you hear that thing. This crowd there's always that counterbalance where it's like when you have a live crowd and when you have that, you know, internet crowd. But I'm not saying he knows his Twitter account, but what I do know, he's not completely oblivious to the fact that people really do not enjoy this.
I don't know about that.
But sometimes
at this point right now, he's probably exactly like Donald Trump, where Donald Trump had a whole fucking folder. Just let me speak. Donald Trump had a whole fucking folder of just printouts of all positive articles about him, and he would just flip through that and and feel good about himself. They'd probably print out all the fucking tweets and stuff like that.
Right. So
they love it.
Right. So the minority that enjoy it.
Nobody knows their fans better than me.
But he looks at the minority who like it, caters to them, obviously. But I think what drives him also is like, those other people really don't like it. Okay, let's just keep going with it. I think there's an element to him where he's like a little bit like, no, we're going to continue with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this work. Because the 5 people on the internet like it. Yeah.
There's more than 5,
because he's probably like,
and they're the ones that are killing wrestling.
Whoever's looking at the social media, they're probably like, okay, you have to come to me with all the positives. So they're looking for every hashtag or positive comment about the Fiend, and he's rolling with it. And they're not even presenting everybody else. But even if they are, like, the majority of people don't like it, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I don't give a shit.
Yep. Well, anyway, I don't think we said hi to anybody yet in the chat room.
We didn't say hi. We haven't talked about the show. We did talk about the show, but not
that's
like...
the show. I mean, that's it. It's embarrassing.
I mean, if you're expecting Mike to give it a thumbs up at the end...
yeah, you don't have to stay tuned for the final rating. I'll tell you right now, it's a fucking thumbs down. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody in the chat room tonight. So we're going to say hello to Andrew Elder, who has renamed our show The Raw Rant rather than Post Raw. Quentin Walters is here, our buddy. Uncle Billy, the chief marketing officer for our our podcast. We have I Am Alpha in the chat room tonight. We have Louis Viraldi, Sweet Lou. He calls this the worst Raw ever. Yeah, you're not wrong. Machoon Walls, welcome to Lily's Playground, Pete's. That's a good.
I like that.
That's a good name.
That.
I like that one.
I like that a lot.
There'd be a Mike Tedesco rant, of course. Yes, you were correct about that.
It's just never ending now.
It's just a one continuous. Jorge Oliva, Hola Familia Tedesco, horrid Raw, and how can they pull off another 2-day WrestleMania from Tampa? It's not cost effective, right? Actually, I do want to talk about that. So put the WrestleMania thing. That's our next thing we're talking about. Then we'll talk about Raw. Jonelle Jackson, hello, Jonelle. How are you? Daniel Shale, our buddy. William Walker is here tonight. Tell us how you really feel, Mike. Oh, should I continue? Oh boy.
No, don't egg him on even more.
Brian's here. Brian, hello, Brian. We have CJ Bowman's here in the chat room. Hey, CJ. We have, let's see. Oh, we have Mr. V in the chat room tonight. Excelente. Mr. V is here. Graham Costigan Cripps, I believe I saw him in there. Yes. And if I have not, I'm just scrolling through very, very fast now. If I missed you, just say hello. Oh, Goosey's in the chat room tonight. Excellent. Hello, Goose. All right.
I'm just going to say hello, all.
Victoria says hello to everybody. All right. Yeah. So the one thing that they did announce is that they announced the locations of the next 3 Wrestlemanias for 2021, which initially was announced as the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, but because they're being responsible while being in a pandemic in California, they are not going to open up. Obviously, they're not going to let people into a stadium because like their California numbers are horrendous. They're horrendous. Florida doesn't even have a fucking mask mandate.
Florida,
Florida
I don't even want to talk
is
about Florida. Florida is like
joke.
They're having concerts down there too.
Ron DeSantis should be tried for murder.
Not people who are like, like A-list celebrities, but there are people who are performing concerts.
Yeah, absolutely, people that need the money for sure. So Raymond James Stadium obviously was supposed to host WrestleMania last year, wound up being at the Performance Center, WrestleMania 36. So they're going to have WrestleMania held over 2 nights in Tampa this year. April, I think it was April 10th and April 11th or something like that.
Close to our birthdays.
That's right. Let me go back. Hold on. I have the days written down. Yep, 10th and 11th. So they're going to hold it over 2 nights, and they are going to have a crowd there. They are obviously they said we're going to release safety protocols and ticket buying information at a later date because they have no fucking clue how they're going to pull this off yet. If they were smart, they would do what AEW does. We have Anthony Manzano here. Mike, since there's 3 Anthonys in the chat, just call me Tony. You got it. All right. Hello, Tony. Has Tony ever been in our chat before?
I don't know. Hello and
Hello,
welcome.
Tony. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to our Raw rant, post-Raw.
So, look, AEW, has been doing things right with their live shows. They do have fans in attendance, but they are way up there. They put them in the upper deck. They have production family, in the lower tier and at ringside because they're part of the pod and all that stuff. Yeah, it's
their pod, yeah.
But for the most part, AEW has cracked down on anybody even trying to sell the tickets in the third. Remember that when they started doing this, like people were selling the tickets on StubHub or whatever. And
yeah,
they were
I do remember that. Yeah,
no, we're taking those tickets down. We're going to trace them, and whoever buys those tickets, sorry, they're canceled. Because you can only buy them in pods. They want to make sure that the people that sit together are already in a pod where they aren't going to get sick, and they are really stringent about who comes and who goes and how they enter and how they leave. If they were smart, if WWE is smart, which at this fucking point, I'm not even sure that they are, because they've had like 4 outbreaks in their company. Their champion currently has COVID-19. They're having New Year's parties. Everybody knows what the hell they're doing. Everybody knows. And it's not good. They would follow AEW's model to the T, to the letter. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is going to be. I hope that nobody goes to WrestleMania and winds up contracting the virus and dying or killing somebody around them. I pray to God that doesn't happen. But at this point, in a state that doesn't even have a mask mandate, this is not a good look. It's not a good look, especially with the numbers are the way they are.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like
I wouldn't go to WrestleMania this year. I'll tell you that.
No, I definitely, even if it was in New Jersey, I wasn't going.
And they're hosting it over 2 nights, so it's just a lot of exposure especially for people that buy the tickets back-to-back nights. That's a lot of exposure.
It obviously makes me very nervous, and this is just a personal belief for myself. Like, even if it was in New Jersey, I wouldn't be going this year. I just wouldn't. I'm just not comfortable. I think that, honestly, I don't even know if there's really any, even though you said AEW has they have a safer model than WWE does, obviously. They're, containing it a lot much better than WWE, but I don't really even know if you can have a safe way of executing it, unless you had literally individuals, like your families and everybody gets tested. And like, the superstars, like their families, they get tested. Everyone's masked in their pod or just even in a pod or whatever. But I think to bring it to the fans, like fans, unless fans are getting like PCR tests and have to show like proof of
the insidious nature of this disease is that you can carry it around and not know that you have it.
Right.
And wrestling fans are not exactly the most hygienic people on earth.
I think, well, again,
yes, Goosey, vaccines do exist, and it's going to start towards a path towards normalcy, but we're not going to have herd immunity at least until the summer.
Also for people who aren't going to take the vaccine.
I'm sorry, WrestleMania is not an essential part of our fucking lives where we need to put where you need to have people there and put them. If anything, this year has shown that you don't need. Like you can do these shows. Yes, I just told you how fucking horrible it's been without a crowd there, but you can do the show without a crowd. I think,
well, in terms of the vaccine, yeah, it's a good point, but the only thing is, though, everyone's not going to take it. We know that. It's not going to be mandated, and we know that.
You can't.
You can't do that.
It's an infringement on your constitutional
liberties. Of course. So
it would never hold up in a court to mandate a vaccine.
Right, but even if you can't not guarantee.
The bottom line is this is an entertainment show. It's not essential, and you don't need to have people there. That's the bottom line. And they're having it in Florida because they know that Florida doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
that's the only reason they're having it there, because they can't go anywhere else and have the show. So they're going to do it at Raymond James Stadium.
I have literally seen people who've traveled to Florida, attend a concert,
and they get sick. Yes, we know many people that have actually gone to Florida and come back with fucking COVID. Like, it's a joke.
A few of my students.
It's a total joke.
Almost every and I'm not even exaggerating. Almost every person I know who has come back sick.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's the nature of the beast right now. And it's like, since they have the means, obviously they get tested, whoever they tested. I think for this year, it really should be individuals or families. And if they have to get tested and they have to show proof of, I had my PCR test, and not like 2 weeks before. It has to be like 3 days before, you attend the show, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. But not to the fans like you and me.
Right.
Like, we can't just come from New Jersey, as our area, and just be like, hey, we can attend the show.
Yeah.
Just because it's not going to be completely safe at that point. I do firmly believe things are going to get safer. I think we're going to progressively get to a point.
But right now, the numbers are very bad.
April, I don't think is going to be like...
April could be, but we don't know that.
But it's not going to be magic, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, the vaccine's not a magical thing where it's just going to...
Yeah.
COVID's just going to go away. You're doing it to protect yourself. I mean, there's an individual who, tested positive. They had their first dose.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't mean you can't get it. It just means you're less likely to get it.
Right.
And you have to get 2 doses.
And for those that are saying that there was no outbreaks among fans that went to NFL games, believe me when I tell you, just from working in a school district, if you're willing to go out somewhere, and take the risk, chances are slimmer that you're getting tested. If you think that you've been exposed and you're already working from home, there is literally no reason to go get tested, so it doesn't get reported.
And people are asymptomatic too. So maybe there wasn't an outbreak per se, but how many people do those people infect? You just don't know. Like, we don't know anything about it.
Anyway,
whatever. I don't want to get into a COVID discussion.
Anyway, I'm not. But the one good thing is about this WrestleMania is that it's going to be held over 2 nights. Scary thing is the next 2 are not going to be held over 2 nights, and we're going to go back to 8-hour WrestleManias again. Like, Dallas in 2022. It's just it's
could
listed
that
as
possibly
it's
change?
I hope to God it does.
It could,
because as weird as WrestleMania was, and they really did a good job with WrestleMania this year. They did the best that they possibly could with WrestleMania 36. Well, I keep saying this year, it's really last year. Having it over 2 nights was excellent.
Yeah.
So if I had to watch that show for 6 hours, 7 hours, or whatever, it'd be mind-boggling how they could even let that go. So having it over 2 nights at Raymond James Stadium, I think that's a great idea, and I think that's something that if there's a long-lasting impact from the pandemic that's positive for WWE, having WrestleMania over 2 nights.
I think
Absolutely.
I think
have
that
it
will
over 2
be
nights.
very beneficial in the future.
It's double gate. Imagine having a double $1 million gate.
Ooh, and I mean, like, you're not gonna want to miss both nights. Who realistically is not going to buy a ticket for both nights?
Right, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
You're not going to get any people who are like, oh, I'm going to go to Saturday, but I'm not going to go to Sunday.
People, when you come in for WrestleMania weekend, they're buying the tickets to Access. They're buying the tickets to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They're buying tickets to NXT TakeOver.
NXT TakeOver.
So they're already watching 3 hours the night before, and then they're going to buy tickets to WrestleMania. They're going to buy tickets to Monday Night Raw, and when it was on Tuesday, they would buy tickets to SmackDown. You know, like. So these are people that are used to watching a lot of wrestling anyway.
I know,
like if you're gonna go there, you're gonna get the full experience. And I'm not going there to watch one fucking WrestleMania show. I'm going there to watch both nights.
I'm watching both.
And I'll pay top dollar to sit close every single night.
Yeah, I would prefer even like you said just before, literally just a second ago, that usually when like a Raw or SmackDown, when it was Monday, Tuesday, it's in your area. Most of the time, people are buying both. There's package deals for both for a reason. So they're obviously, once again things get back to like fully normal, people are going to be having those. They should really, really consider it. Yeah. It's better for them. It really is.
Right. Tony Manzano says that this shows that specifically the state of Florida cares more about making money and fixing the state economy rather than people's safety. Yes. I honestly think that if Florida could have just gone hard with masks, maybe, who knows, like what would have happened, because a lot of people go to Florida for vacationing and stuff like that, and maybe who knows how much was spread out of Florida. I mean, we know a few people that have gone to Florida and have come back COVID positive. So that's spreading from state to state.
People, yeah.
Who knows if they would have just done the masks like every other fucking state in March and April, would it be as bad? Maybe not, but we'll never know.
We'll never know.
And we'll never fucking find out now, because they still, after all this, after so many people have died, they don't have a mask mandate. It's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. Let's talk about this shitty fucking Raw. Oh, by the way, Los Angeles that was supposed to have WrestleMania this year has to wait 2 years now to have it. But that's understandable, because they probably already had the deal with Dallas inked from like last year, and then they just announced it this year. So it's not like they're going to push Dallas back. Los Angeles, they couldn't host it this year, so sorry, you have to wait another 2.
And I don't think there was necessarily even. Again, does it stink for them? But I also think that it has to do with the fact that California is very, Yeah. I think they want to build things up again before they have any type of.
Goosey, I don't think you're going to find a WWE superstar that is going to be upset that Access may never happen again. Just looking at some of those pictures that people take with the females, I guarantee you, if they announce that Access is going to become a thing of the past, there might be a mini fucking celebration in the locker room, spontaneous right at that moment. All right, so Raw starts off with Randy Orton in a Nacho Libre mask, talking about having his face burned, even though WWE.com said that he suffered minor burns, and he himself even said that he suffered first-degree burns. He's talking about how his face is horrifically scarred, and he's protecting. It's just the most absurd fucking promo. They're doubling down. He did his best. He did his best to try to polish a turd, but a fucking turd is still a fucking turd, and this sucked. He's trying to make it like he's Mick Foley, where I love pain, it's okay, he's wearing a Nacho Libre mask. We're supposed to take this seriously. It's like, this is a joke. It's a joke, right? It has to be. It's got to be, right?
I guess. I didn't find it funny though.
It's horrible. It's horrible. This Fiend thing. They're gonna do. It's gonna be a WrestleMania match. It's gonna be, and it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Perhaps it might be worse than Undertaker versus Big Boss Man, and that's really saying something.
Oh gosh.
Because even before he hung Big Boss Man, that was still a really bad match, like the worst match ever. Yeah. So that's how they opened up Raw. So I can't wait to see the ratings tomorrow. I just cannot wait, because this is by and large, by far, the very worst first hour that I've seen in the last few weeks since Miz opened up with that fucking nightmare before TLC.
This was worse than that, though?
No, this is the worst since that.
The worst since that.
So, we had to wait a few weeks to get another horrible one.
Ooh, lucky us.
Truly horrible. I mean, this was truly horrendous. Because you start off with that 10-minute Randy Orton promo in the Nacho Libre mask. And the next thing that we do is we go to Charlotte Flair and Peyton Royce. We see fucking 71 or 72-year-old Ric Flair backstage with Lacey Evans, and she's talking about, hitting on... It's like, why? Nobody wants to boo Ric Flair in 2021. No, get real. This is terrible.
Listen, I don't know what they think are accomplishing with this storyline. I don't know who in their right mind was like, yeah, let's... It really is just...
Yeah. I take it back. Thank you, Andrew. Taker versus Giant Gonzalez was way worse. You're right. You're correct.
I actually saw that. Remember you showed it to me? Do you remember you showed it to me?
Yeah, I do remember showing you Giant when I was doing the retro recaps.
Yes, I do remember that. You're like, watch this. I'm like, oh, why am I watching this?
Horrific. That was horrific.
I do remember that.
But, oh my God.
You really got to see this. I'm like, do I have to?
Horrendous. Anyway, Ric Flair as a heel in 2021, fuck off. Go scratch. Anyway, we have Charlotte Flair versus Peyton Royce. And, Charlotte Flair's been up on the roster since 2015, right? So she'll have made her debut 6 years ago in July, I believe was her debut.
That's how we got married.
5.5 years. Yeah, actually, I think the very first show that after our honeymoon was the night she debuted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exciting.
It is exciting. So, anyway, or maybe it was the week before.
Yeah, something.
Whatever it was. Whatever. We got married at the end of July, so I don't know. Anyway. After 5.5 years of competent wrestling, this is the very worst Charlotte Flair match that has happened on the main roster. The very worst. The worst match. I actually thought when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh man, let me rewind. Let me rewind this match and see where Peyton Royce got the concussion that is causing her to wrestle like a complete and total fucking idiot." I go, she has to be injured. She has to be, because she's moving in slow motion. She's not competent in the ring whatsoever. And then I just realized, you know what? That's how Peyton Royce wrestles. This was a horrible showing tonight. By far was a horrible showing for those that push the Performance Center as like the be all end all of training.
I think
because the Performance Center had a fucking horrible night
with Charlotte Flair. The part that really is just kind of upsetting about this,
she couldn't even keep her foot on the rope.
It's such a bittersweet thing with her because you need her, right?
Yeah.
You want her, but if this is like the competition, it's like, no, go home until somebody comes.
Not even competition.
Like,
the way to describe it, this is the level of talent. Because at the end of the day, this is acting. This is a form of physical theater.
Yeah.
This is not it's not competition. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
But
if this is what's going.
You
to be
have
presented,
an actor in the ring that can't act.
Right. You're only as strong as your weakest link. And there's nobody competent enough.
This was 2008 levels of bad.
Diva stuff. Yeah,
this was fucking Kelly versus name your idiot, Jillian Hall.
Anybody.
It
really was bad. That's what I'm saying. It's like, do you have her back and like have matches like this? Or should she just stay home and not be on there? Because really, it's like there's nobody competent enough to match level that we haven't seen before. How many times have we seen Asuka versus Charlotte? You know what I mean? So it's like,
this match was just horrendous. Where she was trying to put Peyton Royce's leg on the rope, and Peyton couldn't keep her leg on the rope. She kept like taking her foot off the rope.
Yeah.
Because she was like, "Oh, Charlotte jumped. I better take my foot off the rope so she doesn't actually break my leg." Twice they had to set it up, and it was horrendous to look at. I'm like, you can't even do that. She has to have a concussion. Please let her have a concussion because I don't want to imagine that somebody is that incompetent at their fucking profession. It was horrendous. Horrendous. Terrible kicks, slow motion movements. Charlotte Flair is way off her game, but that's what you get when you fucking wrestle a broomstick. Peyton Royce needs to go back for some more seasoning because this sucked. If they're sending Mace and Keith Lee and fucking Omos or Omos or whatever they call him now and whoever else to the Performance Center for extra spice, sprucing, fucking Peyton Royce should be right there with them.
Yeah.
I mean, but even Charlotte Flair, she lost her balance in the figure 8. This was just a disaster.
It was a disaster. It was a hot mess. It was. It truly
no
was.
Chemistry whatsoever.
No, there's no in-ring chemistry at all.
By far my favorite thing on this entire show. By far. Because there was absolutely no quality control tonight. Everything was just embarrassing.
This was so
literally just embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
So there was a segment after this, and they had already had a couple technical guffaws already, and there will be more. But Bobby, Matt Riddle, whatever the fuck his name is now, question mark, bumps into the Hurt Business, who he's been feuding with, and they're all acting like, here's the high guy, and he's Mr. One Dimensional. He's like, you're Shelty B, and you're cool, and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know why anybody would call you Slobby Bobby. In that suit, you look great. And then Lashley sends the Hurt Business off and says, I like your flip-flops, but I heard they're bad for your feet. And he stomps on his foot. And generally it's like, yeah, you hear the sound effect and the guy goes down. That's fine. But instead, the camera completely betrayed them because there was no quality control. But that's where Bobby Lashley stomped. And Matt Riddle took the big bump on the floor, holding his foot, had his foot taped up later on. They knew that this made air. And they doubled down on continuing to be stupid with it. I mean, like, God almighty. It's laughable how fucking awful that was. Really. Like, how did that make air? Really bad.
I was cringing. I'm like, no.
It's like, what the hell?
No. Like, why did that just happen? And sorry, but
it was funny. It was actually funny.
It was funny, but sorry, like, even to yes, the camera, obviously the production had a lot to do with it.
Stomp a little closer, at least.
Exactly.
Even so, I mean,
right?
they can work, stomping on each other's hands in the ring.
Right.
It's like, just do a worked stomp.
I mean, that was straight in the middle. Like he was
he was a country mile
symmetry there.
He was a country mile away from the guy's fucking foot.
He could have just stomped near, exactly. He could have stomped near the foot.
Just
clearly, he was wanting to play an even Stevens night. And just let me just do it symmetrical.
Horrible. It was terrible. Xavier Woods versus Mace of Retribution. This match was a disaster as well. Mace does not belong in the ring. He is too green. He goes for a slam and loses his grip with Xavier Woods, who is so fucking valuable to the show. Him and Kofi Kingston's absence is very much felt with the jaw injury.
Can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you change Mace's picture on your?
No, I can't. That's the only one they have.
Are you serious?
That's it. Why?
It's so creepy.
Yeah, it's meant to be, I guess.
No,
but he lost his grip on Xavier Woods and almost dumped him on his head. So yeah, there's your Performance Center. That's what you get when you have Prince Albert teaching you how to fucking wrestle.
I don't know. It's very uncomfortable.
Just rough.
I'm gonna get off my screen now because I'm uncomfortable looking at him.
Asuka's backstage with Sarah Schreiber. She's supposed to be on Alexa Bliss's playground. She goes, "What can you expect from Alexa Bliss's playground?" She goes, "I don't know." And then you see her open her mouth to talk some more. And then they cut to a video of Alexa Bliss blowing a fireball in Randy Orton's face. And then we join Asuka back mid-sentence as she says something about Alexa Bliss's dark side and walks off. So the commentators have to repeat what she said when we come back from the break because they fucked that up. And then as soon as we come back from the commercial break, we get that WrestleMania report, which was kind of funny when they did it, on Saturday. They played the whole thing with, Triple H's name being Henry Panky. Which was Hanky Panky, of course, and Stephanie McMahon being Anita Goodman or something like that, or whatever her name was. But as they're playing the WrestleMania report, which was probably one of the best things on the show, other than the Martin Luther King video and AJ Styles versus Ricochet, can believe that. They cut back into the Thunderdome, and Alexa Bliss's video is just on the screen, and nothing's happening. And then they go back to the video. It's like, God, production had a really shit night tonight. And then we get Alexa's Playground. The less said about this, the better. This fucking sucked. It just... it killed Asuka. They haven't done anything right with Asuka in quite a while. She hasn't defended her title. She's tag team champions with somebody that her and Charlotte Flair haven't even appeared on the same screen in weeks. There's no fucking... What are they doing with Asuka here? She's their best talent by far, male or female. And they have her being fucking afraid of Alexa Bliss. Everything the Fiend touches dies. It sucks.
It's just a continuation of anything with Bray Wyatt.
It's shit. Everything that involves Bray Wyatt right now is shit. It's like, and I even had to say, like, you know, like that's the point where I was convinced, right down to this awful fucking segment with Alexa Bliss. I'm convinced that this whole entire storyline is just designed to see how fucking stupid are our fans. How fucking dumb are these people that, you know, the ones that just, you know, kneel on their feet and wait for Vince McMahon to shovel more shit into their mouth. Like, how fucking dumb are they? Let's just keep pushing the envelope and see how fucking dumb they are. But they would try to prove it later on by advertising Goldberg to keep fucking idiots watching. They advertise Goldberg at the 10 o'clock hour, and they send out Dwayne fucking Gilberg. Now, I have nothing against Gilberg. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a nice guy, and I might even message him after this to apologize to him. But Dwayne Gill, and God bless him, he had a heart attack 2 months ago. It's great to see him on television getting a little paycheck. He does not belong on fucking wrestling television in 2021. And that was a fucking horrendous segment. There's nothing funny about it. There's nothing good about it. When you're advertising Goldberg after producing a shit pie for the past 2 hours...
That was just wrong.
Then you tell people that Goldberg are going to be there, and then you fucking give them a giant middle finger.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Fuck yourself.
It has nothing to do with...
Fuck
like
you,
said,
WWE.
It has nothing to do with Dwayne at all. You know what I mean? It just has everything to do with the fact that...
God bless him.
They did everything. It just all had to do with the fact that
great to see him.
Goldberg was advertised...
And after a show with no star power,
was not delivered.
Drew McIntyre has COVID. He's not on the show. Your biggest star is not on the show.
Yep.
They're not bringing back Bray Wyatt right now.
Nope.
Randy Orton was in a Nacho Libre mask and wasn't on the show for the rest of the fucking night.
Yep.
So there's no stars on the show.
It was a big like.
And then you advertise Goldberg.
Oh yeah, no.
That's wrong.
It was wrong.
It's wrong.
It was wrong. It was totally
wrong.
But
because they think that because they told everybody on SmackDown, well, the card's subject to change. Well, no. Card's subject to change. False advertising is false advertising, though.
Absolutely.
Go fuck yourself.
Absolutely.
Go fuck yourself, WWE. That was shit. That was absolute shit. Anyway, Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose. Up to that point in the show, that was the best thing that they had done so far, other than the MLK video.
Yeah.
Because it was short and sweet, and there was nothing to it.
No.
The back and forth that Shayna had with Nia was horrendous. But I gotta tell you, Dana Brooke took a hell of a bump off the apron with that.
Yeah, she did.
With that missile drop.
Yeah, she did.
Flat bump on the ground.
No, she absolutely did. I'm gonna give her credit for that one. That was honestly.
Rough. And Mandy Rose got the tar beat out of her in this match.
Oh yeah. This was the one thing that I said that, you know, before, that in terms of like things that were like positive, like this was something that was like a positive. I thought it was like it was so short that it was like nothing to like make me overly criticize or anything, you know, whatever. I thought they had a pretty decent little matchup right there.
Yeah, it was a nothing matchup, but it wasn't horrible.
No.
What was horrible is that they are still at 2 years into his run now. They are still trying to make Ricochet talk. They're still trying to do it. And they're giving him the very worst material you could possibly give somebody. The guy is talking to AJ Styles and he's trying to get AJ Styles by quoting a movie that's almost 20 years old. 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler came out in 2003. That's 18 fucking years ago. It's a good movie. It's fine. But it was 18 years ago. That's the best reference that you can have the fucking guy bring up? That's it? Like, and that's supposed to make him cool?
Nothing.
Horrible. Nothing can make this. Why can't they give him a manager? AJ Styles has a manager that doesn't speak. There's no reason for him to have the manager in the first place. Omos has done absolutely nothing to help AJ Styles. In my opinion. There hasn't been there's no payoff to the Omos thing, and there's no reason for the Omos thing either. Fucking Elias, who can talk, has fucking Jackson fucking Riker as his manager, I think, or his bitch, or whatever the thing is that they're doing. Why can't Ricochet get a like Roman Reigns does most of the talking for his stable, but he has Paul Heyman, one of the best talkers of all time. Why can't Ricochet just send up Robert Stone from NXT and have him manage Ricochet?
Nobody wants to be with Ricochet.
Yes, because he is.
Because he's just so.
Yeah, they want to hear it.
Why not me?
Why not? Why not Ricochet? Why not me?
Why not me?
Oh fuck, God!
Everybody but you, Ricochet. Right. How about that at the end of the day? Everybody but you.
It's like, give him a manager, because the guy can go in the ring. He's a good hand. He's not. I'm not
manager.
Ever saying that he'd be, if he had a manager that it's like, oh, that's the thing that's going to unlock Ricochet in the main event.
No, heck no.
But he has
do something.
He has no personality whatsoever.
He's cardboard.
There's nothing there.
He is cardboard.
There's nothing.
Liliana is only 15 months old, and she has way more personality than Ricochet.
She blows Ricochet away.
But she's 15 months old.
I know. And
how is there a 15?
He's many more months older than her. He's not good. He's not good. And I'm sorry, I don't care how many fucking flippity-doos that you can do in the ring. If you have no personality, you're not going to go far in wrestling. Now, if you have a manager, you can mask some of those deficiencies. Give the fucking guy a manager. Give him a chance. Stop with these goddamn fucking promos that you're making him cut. Because he went out there and had a really good match.
He's the same birthday. Oh, never mind. Whoa, it was like, oh, his birthday. No, his same birthday. Oh, wow. He debuted on his birthday. So he's 32.
Yeah. So Ricochet and Liliana have the same birthday. How about that?
Oh, God. Poor kid.
That's crazy. Well, no, but he had a good match. The match with AJ Styles was excellent. It really was. There was a couple missteps, and of course they have to sandwich in that almost interference that fucking takes you right out of the match every single time, because how the fuck is that not a disqualification? But what Elias did to Jeff Hardy was a disqualification. How on the same show can you book the same fucking thing and one be a disqualification, one not? Quality control fucking sucks on this show.
I just want to say, because I looked it up, Ricochet is 384 months old, and Liliana is 15 months old, and she has way more personality than him.
That's something.
Just saying. Saying
something.
How dare they have the same birthday?
I know.
He should change his birthday.
Yeah, I think he has the same birthday as my grandmother, not Liliana. Anyway, horrendous. And then following that, the match was great, but Ricochet talking horrendous. Following that, we have the dirt sheet with Gilbert and Drew McIntyre, a midget Drew McIntyre, who had his ass crack hanging out.
That's so nice.
I didn't even give this a proper recap. At that point, I was like, "Fuck this show." It's two or three tiny paragraphs. I said no, because at this point, that's where I was like, "This is it." Vince is doing the NWO promo for real. You know, it's like there's no way that you can defend this show tonight. There's no way.
Yeah.
You have the Hurt Business. They are a good stable. They have tag team gold. They have the United States title. And you have MVP. Why are we breaking them up randomly right now? They just got strong, and now it's time to break them up? Look, what is it with this company that they can't run with an act for like a year or two and actually tease like a breakup that people would want to see? It was just like all of a sudden Cedric Alexander's a dickhead.
What really bothers me about the whole thing is that why are they so opposite in this company? When things need to just go away, they don't go away.
Right.
Like Retribution.
Like Retribution should have broken up a while ago.
Like
Hurt Business does not need to break up.
No. So that's what drives me nuts is the fact that when things just need
this
to
fiend
stop.
shit needed to stop.
When things need to stop, they don't stop. They keep going and they beat it over your head until it's like until you just want to like explode.
Well, it's like those
but then
jokes.
with this, they want to just break them up.
Well, think about
Why?
WWE comedy. Like how often do they tell a joke that was like funny one week and then they just beat it into the ground over the next few weeks?
It's like, come on.
Think about like Fandangoing. Remember that? Like horrible.
Really? I mean, they don't know.
But they have no patience.
They really don't. They really don't
Everything's
have any
like,
patience.
oh, well,
Everything's gotta be
we
rushed.
run out of ideas, so it's time to break them up.
Don't we want the next like New Day? And I'm not saying, of course, very different stables, right? Very different teams.
But what about like the next like successful stable that could help everybody? Because these guys on their own aren't good.
No. And
but Bobby Lashley with Shelton Benjamin and MVP and Cedric Alexander behind him.
Great.
That's
great.
a good thing for everybody.
Right. So why
it keeps Shelton Benjamin at 48 years old or however old he is relevant and in the action because he's still good. He still has something to contribute. Cedric Alexander is not good enough to stand on his own.
Let it season. Let it just
He will
develop.
be eventually if you let him fucking stay with the stable and develop under MVP.
It has to just really it has to really go through its course wholeheartedly, full support. Let it again. We're not in a normal situation. Let a live crowd see these individuals together.
Yep.
Why does everything just have to die?
I know. It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
You got Jeff Hardy versus Jackson Riker because God forbid they blow off a feud and we got to rekindle it a week or two later. Why do we have to still watch Jeff Hardy do anything with Elias?
I don't know.
Just get it over with.
Why are you asking me? I don't know anything.
This sucked. Jackson Riker sucks, number one. Just fucking shit. Shitty human being, shitty everything. Shitty wrestler. Just sucks. But he's the one being pushed right now.
Yeah,
Some
course.
fucking how he's the one being pushed.
It makes no sense to me. I don't even want to comment on it.
And how about tag teams breaking up? Elias and Jackson Riker literally got together late last month. And they're already teasing a breakup. This show's pathetic. It's horrible.
Well, I mean, I don't mind that so much.
No, I don't mind that, but Jesus Christ. Another positive thing is they had Drew McIntyre from a tape promo from his home. He said that he'll be on Raw next week, so his 2 weeks will be up. They never said that he has to test negative. I don't know what Florida does, but in Jersey you have to test negative before returning to the workforce. Yeah. And I would want to test negative before going in the ring with 54-year-old Bill Goldberg. But anyway, they better hope that his test comes up negative next week because they promised and promoted that he will be on Raw next week. So we'll see what happens. But fucking Jeff Hardy is struggling to beat Jackson Riker. So somebody must have told Vince how old Jeff is. But they should tell him how old Jackson Riker is too, because he wouldn't be getting pushed either. This main event. You want to take this one?
No, I don't.
It sucked.
I don't want to take
Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, it's just garbage. We go to commercial break with the lights going out on Alexa Bliss, and when we come back, she's magically changed into darker attire with black lipstick. It's like, and the lipstick looked completely rushed, like somebody ran in there, got her changed real quick, and put some black lipstick on her. Yeah. It's like, but the announcers are using their soft voices and talking like this is magical, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, this is insulting. Go scratch.
That's Mike's new
horrible.
phrase.
It's terrible.
It started from this show, I think.
No, I think I'm trying to think where I picked it up from. Somebody said it, and I thought it was hilarious.
I think it was on here.
I started saying it, but
yeah.
So I heard somebody say I can't take credit for that.
No, I know you can't not take.
But now that she's in her dark material now, which I'm assuming that they're hinting that Bray Wyatt has possessed her body because she started doing all of his moves, the shoulder block, the mandible claw, the arcing of the back, the Sister Abigail. This is not wrestling. This is not professional wrestling. This isn't even good, competent television. But I know for a fact, wrestling, yeah, it's a genre of simulated entertainment, and it's pretty broad of what it is. But this is where that broad definition runs out. Because this ain't it. This is not it.
This is where we can't convince individuals. Why do you watch this?
This is where somebody watches this and goes, "Yeah, I lost respect for you because you watch this stuff because this is absurd.
Yeah,
this is fucking terrible." This is where the broad definition runs out, because this is not professional wrestling. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's B movie, B real shit, and it's not even good. It's not even well. It's not even done well. It's not even done well. Asuka, who has been languishing in absolute nothingness since well before Survivor Series, is acting a fool in this match. Just getting, she was scared in the segment earlier. In this match, she's just acting like an idiot. They have totally killed any momentum that Asuka had. So congratulations. Maybe that was like the one final Paul Heyman project that they wanted to kill. They've done it. Alexa Bliss beats the champion. There's no talk of, Alexa Bliss being the number one contender. Nothing. Laughable. I was trying not to choke to death because the commentators are going, oh my God, this could be the WrestleMania main event happening right now. I go, if this is the WrestleMania main event, I have recapped my last WrestleMania last year. And I am not fucking doing it. No, you're just fucking
Michael
way.
Michael just
I'll stop
resign.
recapping in the middle of WrestleMania.
No, Michael.
I don't care if we have 6,500 people on the site all at one time waiting for the results. I'm quitting. I will not recap that.
He just will not continue.
I'm not doing it.
He'll just resign as editor-in-chief.
It's not happening.
Be done with his recapping career.
It'll
be it.
It will never happen.
Done.
Not under my watch. So that was Raw. Why don't we ask the people in the chat, who we've neglected for a little while now, what do you think of the show? Do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Victoria, what do you give this show?
I'm going to give it as Liliana does.
Yes.
Down.
Yeah. Fucking sucked. 2 thumbs down. I
4 thumbs down.
I would literally cut my thumbs off and just drop them on the ground to make it even more down, because it sucked. Let's see what the people online say. 75% thumbs down. So that means that there's 25% of the people out there that are idiots.
Oh, stop it. Maybe some people who are listening right now. So,
all right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that, but for the most part,
I think they're confused. I think that's the better word. I think they're confused. I think they hit the wrong button. Maybe
they hit the wrong button. I like to think that 25% of the people just accidentally hit the wrong button. They thought that both said thumbs down, and they just clicked that one. Or
they were watching another show and.
Yeah, maybe there have been people that's like, oh, I'm going to go to my DVR and start Raw from the beginning, and then they click on the wrong Raw, and they're like, oh, that's
or
not
they
bad.
think, or they're watching our show and they're like, thumbs up.
Yeah, maybe they thought our show was Raw. And
the post Raw show is thumbs up, so they're like, okay.
I don't know. Oh yeah, I Am Alpha. I remember when Triple H just appeared on the ring in that Randy Orton match. Yeah, and he came back as Hanky Panky. No follow up from that. Nobody's concerned about Triple H or his well-being. Nothing.
Nobody cares.
He just disappeared, and that was the end of that. And we'll never talk about it again. This show fucking is a disaster. It's a disaster. It's horrendous.
Anybody giving it a thumbs up?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Uncle Billy gives it a thumbs down. Raw was living shits, enough said, from Quentin Walters. Toilet water from Andrew Elder.
Water.
I Am Alpha, thumbs down. Daniel gives it a middle finger. Graham Costigan Cripps gives it a thumbs down. Andrew Elder says Raw rant, always thumbs up. Also, Miz is my new Seth Rollins. Yeah, he's really bad right now. The Miz, there's no redeeming qualities about the Miz right now. The best highlight of Raw when it ended from Quentin. You know Miz is not at his best right now.
We don't have to be disrespectful though. Do we have to be disrespectful?
Jorge Oliva says thumbs down. The only reason the ratings are getting better is because there is no more Monday Night Football. Yeah, how about that? That's another thing that needs to be discussed. What was the excuse tonight for, they phoned in the last few weeks. They're phoning it in because of football, and they're phoning it because of the playoffs. It's like there was nothing on tonight other than a couple basketball games. What the fuck was the reason for phoning it in tonight? How do you defend that?
Does anyone want to make the list tonight? I have my list ready.
Andrew and I are on the list. I will share a spot with Andrew proudly. Proudly.
Come at me, everybody. If you want to say the Miz sucks.
He sucks right now. He sucks.
Come at me.
He's terrible.
You're all on my list.
All right, I'm on the list. I'm glad about. This couch is looking mighty nice tonight.
Get the hell out of here.
This couch is looking pretty good tonight. I'm gonna fucking sleep on it.
I will not feed you dinner tomorrow.
I'll be very happy to sleep on the couch.
Do you want dinner tomorrow?
I will go out and get
I
fast food.
will take your keys. You will not be able to get in your car.
I will dig through the garbage and eat.
Nobody
I don't care.
cares. Nobody cares.
I will
going
wear
to lock
that.
the fridge.
You can tattoo it on my fucking forehead.
I will lock it.
You can tattoo it on my fucking
Who
forehead.
else wants to come on? Andrew? Andrew
is awful.
Mike? Come on. Everybody. Who else wants to come at me? Who else? Who else dares to come at me?
Daniel Shell, Miz sucks.
Oh, you're on the list, Daniel.
So it's me, Daniel, and Andrew.
Anyone else? Anyone else challenge me?
I am Alpha is liking this. Come at me.
Come at me, bro. Come on. Anybody else?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Next week is the go home show to Royal Rumble. We will actually have a Goldberg on the show allegedly, and Drew McIntyre.
Don't promise anything.
Allegedly, although they should not have promised that. Could be wishful thinking. It might not be though.
Don't even.
Jorge Oliva says the couch is good and use the curtains as the blanket. These are sheer. I won't be able to stay warm.
Nobody cares because you're on the list. So if you're saying you're on the couch for a reason, right? So your warmth is not a concern or not important to me. Anybody else?
Mr. Goosey says he'll order me DoorDash. Michael Mazzana is only good at making babies.
Oh, you're on the list.
But no, he shouldn't make the list because the babies are cute.
Babies are so cute.
The babies are very
cute.
But
but he's good at other stuff besides making cute babies.
Well, he's not good at what he's doing right now. He is good at other things, but he's not good at what he's doing right now.
You all want to just, ooh.
I'm just saying.
You really got to you all got to calm down.
All right.
Okay?
All right, everybody. Next week's Go Home show to Royal Rumble. And yeah, that's all we got for you tonight. I am exhausted from my throat is sore. Hopefully,
wait for you to sleep here
I can't wait to come on next week and talk about how good Raw was for next week. That's what I want. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna be Mr. Brightside tonight.
Ew,
nobody
wants
I'm gonna project that Raw is gonna be good next week.
No, it's not.
It's probably not.
No, it's not.
I'm
and
hoping beyond hope.
SVU was on beforehand and it wasn't good, so that's all I got. That's all I got to pull out my pocket.
All right. Everybody.
For your couch.
Thank you. I will. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be great. I am Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Be well, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next week.